let's see, let me open this data set. I have it here. Okay, great. What I've done, I've also added a doctor's table. Now we have insurance providers table and also like admissions table for the patients. We have a lot of like, we have several for each table. I've kept from last session. For example, last session we created this like gender column. We had this issue with this column, like using different categories of words for different genders, like male and M for male, so on. And like we may have like also like missing values. So what we did, we created this formula to be able to like basically categorize them. So we used like a conditional formula. We also created like use this function here to create discharge here. We did other like steps too, like splitting the column from we had like a city state column which included city and state. So what we did, we split the columns into two columns. So with that, you're gonna start like some of them may look like the same from last session, but we can actually like that could help us to remember and review things. Let's just start from like insurance type. Okay, we already have fixed the issue with the like the we had the mistake or like typos in that column, so we fixed that. And we still have missing values. We talked about it this last session that we don't want to just like remove an entire row just because one or two cells are missing for a record, right? So for each column, we want to check the column, we want to understand it, and we see like if we identify why they're missing. If not, like find a way to like replace the missing values with something. In this case, we're just gonna like replace it with unknown, okay? So insurance type. So we want to type like a formula to say if, okay? I want to say if it is public, just categorize it as public. If otherwise, if it is private, categorize it as private. Otherwise means like then it's not public, private, it's unknown. So categorize it as unknown. So if so it is column N2. So if N2 is public, okay, then, okay, here instead of then, like you had then keyword in, we have like comma, then we'll categorize it just as public. Otherwise, if N2, okay, otherwise if N2 is equal to private, let's categorize that. Then let's categorize it as private. Okay. So we already had these values for some, like for the column, like for some of the cells or for some of the records. Now, otherwise, okay, so if we don't know what is their insurance type or like provider type, let's just categorize it as unknown. Categorize it as unknown. Then add close the parentheses. How many, like count how many ifs you have, add that many like close parentheses. We have two ifs, so I will add two close parentheses to end this formula. Okay. So this way now, and then once you like have a double click on the right side here, on the right side, double click so you can extend it. So that way we can like replace the missing values here. Insurance type. So technically, once we fixed it, we should replace the older version. But since we want to keep record of the steps we take for now, I'll still like I don't replace the older version. I'll just keep them and create new columns. Okay, that's about insurance type. So now we replaced like missing values with the one category just unknown. Then if unknown means like, okay, you still can use it for like data visualization now, this column for like creating summaries from this column, like about the data set and so on. Okay. Um, okay, what's next? We have these two columns that we are gonna like use in calculations. They should be numeric, but you can see that they include characters. So we need to like get rid of these characters from the cells. I will take different steps for each one of them to kind of like see different ways that sometimes like you can fix an issue. First, for the mischarge, this is like every numeric like value starts with a $sign. So what I will do, I will go to find and replace. Okay, go to find and replace, click on replace, and replace the $sign. So in find what, just type $sign, replace with nothing. So just don't type anything in it. So it replaces with empty and like just doesn't add anything inside instead of the $sign. Okay. So find all, we can see that it's find set and then replace all, and it replace all the $sign in this column with two. Okay, so that's one like fixing the issue with the now with the room chart. This time I want to use like the functions that we talked about before, left and right functions. So left function, you can use it to say from left how many characters you should keep. So if I say left and use this cell and say like 4, it will keep me from it will keep from left 4 characters. Let me show you this. So what it does, if I type left equal left, okay, first input is the cell. Okay, first input is the cell, and then if you specify how many characters from left you want to keep, you can specify, for example, 4. Okay, as much as like you think is the correct value, you can specify like a specific number, because I see here like this is like a 4-digit number, so I'll just say from left keep 4. Okay, so in this case works because like most of these like four like numbers are like a four digit. But what if, okay, what if then there's like a different like a format, okay? So I'll use this to say, okay, let's see what happens. That wouldn't work if the digits would be different. So we cannot use this in that case. So we want to make sure that we have a formula that works at all times. Instead of specifying the exact number, I will use a different function. I will remove this. There is a find function. So find, okay, find function. What does find function do? You can specify a character and then specify a cell and say, look for this character in this cell and return or give me the exact that character inside that text. Why I'm looking for U, the location of U, because like that's the part, anything before that will give us number, right? So that's like if we find where we have the U, okay, in this case it's like 6 character, okay? If we find the location of U and say anything before that, meaning the -1, if we take -1, whatever it will give us anything before that character. So if I have the location of U and say anything before that, how do I say anything before that? Just -1. So find U from K2, okay? So it has 2 inputs, the character and which cell we should look into inside the parentheses. Come outside the parentheses. So this will give us the exact location of that character. Then I can say anything before that, meaning like anything, like if it says like it's the 5th character, -1 is 4. So from left, keep 4 characters. From left, keep 2 characters. That way, like we can always get the exact value, like the exact number of numbers from left. Okay, so let's see if we like the formula would fix that issue. I will change this value for now. Okay, let's say I have this value, and you can see that the older version, if I set that, it will still give us that character. But now it always returns the exact number because it finds the exact location of U and like brings the number of characters from before that. Right? So that's a different way to like extract a numeric part from a like a column that includes text and numeric. Okay, so this is our room chart. Oh, this is our room chart 2 for now. Okay, let's keep this as steps that we take and also save. Please make sure to every time you save it so you like something happens, you don't miss the steps that you've applied. Okay. So this would be our formula. Find this character, and instead of like exactly specifying five, like from left, keep five characters or 5 characters. From left, keep as much as characters, but like we have the exact location -1. So just anything before that character. Okay, that's good. Let's see. We still have this column. I think that's our last column with empty cells. So let's create a formula for it to replace the empty cells or missing values with a specific like unknown. The other issue is that you can see like we have yes and we have y. We have no, we have and. So we have different values, but for the same category. Okay, for the same category. So what I will do, I will create this formula. Okay, if again, I want to use or, I want to say if it is yes or y, categorize it as yes. So this or that, so that's why I use the or, and then inside the parentheses, which cell are we going to check? This is our cell, so it's the P2. So if P2 is equal to y, or, so add a comma, P2 is equal to yes. Okay. Y or yes, close the parentheses for or. Okay, so close the parentheses. This is like, this will check Y or yes. Then add a comma for then we will categorize it as yes. Now, otherwise, if again, or this time, or P2 is equal to no, or P2 is equal to n. Close the parentheses for or, add a comma, say we'll categorize it as no. Otherwise, that's the one for the like the missing values. You might use different, like you don't have to always use like unknown, like just use like a specific category for that, like missing values. You can use a different one, unclear, unknown, or just like missing or something. I'll just use unknown, just to go like with that. You have 2 ifs, so we'll add 2 colon and like 2 closing parentheses to close this formula. Great. Do it and then like double click here so we can extend it to the other columns, cells, and this would be follow-up needed. Follow-up needed 2. I will keep it as 2. Later I can fix it. Okay, So what we did, we fixed the like issue with like using different like words for a category, as well as like replacing the missing values with some like a specific category for the for the information that is missing. Okay. Let me save it. Um, let me see what we have here that we want to like change. Um, okay. How about this? Okay, we have a few steps we can like apply here. First, what we can do is that we add, okay, what we have here is provider's name, okay. And here we have the provider's name. In this case, like in this column or in this table, sorry, we have insurance ID. We want to know, like we want to add a column, okay, want to add a column provider's name. Provider name or insurance provider name for each admission for a custom, like for patient. So we know when the data exists in the other table, we can use a VLOOK function to look up the information from the other table. So VLOOKUP has three inputs. The first input is like the one that like is like a key identifier. So you can go to the other table and look for a match. I can look at the other table and see I have insurance ID, I have and I'm looking for provider name. Okay. If I look at the admissions table, I can see that I have insurance ID. For each record, I can use the insurance ID, go to the other table, look for a match. If the IDs match, then I can return or like I can get the provider's name. That's exactly the same thing that happens with the with the database. You have primary key, you have foreign key. That's why we have like customer ID as a foreign key in the orders table. If you have the customer ID, then if you're looking for additional information about the customer, we can go to the customer table, match these IDs, and once we find it, then we can look at that record and find additional information about the customer. That's exactly what happens with the the database. Now here, we're doing the same thing. So this time, we're going to use like the first thing, we're going to add insurance ID. Okay, that's the one from this table we can use insurance ID. Okay, so that's our first input. Add a comma. The second input is the complete range from the other table that we need to look into. Okay, so we go to the insurance table, click on the first cell. We need to select the entire the range. Hold Command and Shift, right arrow, and then down arrow will give us the complete range for the table. So click on the first cell, hold Command and Shift or Control Shift if you're a Windows user, right arrow and then down arrow. This will give you the complete range. This is a small table. You can like simply select it, but if you have a very big table, it wouldn't like make sense to just like try to like select it. You need to use these keys. Okay. Once you selected the range, make sure to like click on like the formula and like change, or you can go back to the formula, change the reference like to absolute reference. Want to make sure that we lock this range. It only looks into that specific range. So add a $sign before the formula. And once I add it, I will actually show you the formula. Let me add this, add a comma, and then go back to the formula. Okay, so this is my formula for so far. And these are like what I did, change like the references to absolute reference, adding the $sign. Make sure that like the name of the worksheet is correct. Okay, the name of the worksheet should be correct. Sometimes it changes back to like the original table, like here admissions. Just change it to the correct name of that worksheet. What is the third input? The third input is, okay, if you find a match, what are you looking for from the other table? From the other table, I'm looking for the provider's name. It's the second column. It's the second column. So here I only type like a number, and that's like the number of that column. I'm looking for the second column. Looking for a second column. The last part is false to indicate that we are looking for an exact match, and then close the parentheses. Okay, let's enter. Then you will have the provider's name for each like patients in this table. Okay, great. Um, let's save this. See if we need any other changes to this table. I think this is good. One thing we can do, just make sure to review what we did last session. Like we have the full name column. Let's go over the like the split like a splitting a column to make sure we reviewed we remember it. So if you want to split this column into two columns, okay, first we select the column, okay, select the column. You can use like the control command shift control shift and then down arrow to like select the entire column. Go to the data tab and click on text to columns. From the data tab, find text to columns, click on text to columns. Okay, click on text to columns. So first, for the first, like if you see this part, we don't change it, that's okay. Click next. Here, now you want to specify, okay, you want to specify only like the one that you use to split the data. If it's like neither of these like or like the default values, you can like type the character in the other section. In this case, it's just a space, right? First name and last name, they're separated by a space. So I will select a space and we can see that it splits the like the text into two columns, first name and last name. So I selected the space. Okay, select the space, click next. Here, if you see this, like click on the destination to remove it. Okay, remove the destination. If you leave it there, what it does, it replaces exactly on the like the original column. Okay, so if you want to specify like a specific target for destination, remove the destination, and then go and like find the very first like empty cell. Click on it so it like becomes the destination for this step. So specify the destination. Once you have it, just click finish and you will have a split of two columns, first name and last name. Yes. Can you check the formula to see if it is correct? You can also like check the link here. In the link, or each of the formulas that we worked on, you can find them. For insurance provider, this should be like your formula. If you want to like plot the coverage percentage, that would be the formula. So the only difference is like the column. Okay. Okay, I think like this is good for the admissions table. We can move on to the doctors table. Okay. So what we have about the doctors, we have like name. specialty, employment type, we have hourly rate, we have hiring date, start time, end time. Again, we can create other columns from this, like several columns from the current like data we have about doctors. A lot of times, this is one of the like this is very important to not just like use the current columns, but to create and generate new columns. Okay, so first column we are going to create is hiring date. We have the hiring date, right? A lot of times if you're working with consumer data, with customer data, with like I don't know, different type of data that includes like people joining a platform, one of the things is very useful is that you usually have like the date that they were joined. What you can do is like you can use it to create how many years they've been a member, years since membership or experience. Okay, it's one of the important indicators of people's behavior, performance. So I will create a new column. So what I want to do, I want to use this employment hiring date. Okay. So first, year function. We have a year function. We have a year function. Um, and also we have a today function. What does today do? Today function will give you the today's date. And year will give us a year, right? So if we type today inside the year function and then close the parentheses, okay? So this way, year and inside year today, and also both of them are functions. So make sure that you add the parentheses. Okay, so it will give us like the today's year. I didn't add the number. Maybe like over time, you check this data over time, and if you just specify an exact number, then you have to keep updating it. But this way, it always keeps it up to date. Now, I want to extend this formula to say minus. Now, I can still use the year function, but like we also can use the text function. Let's just use a different one to also review the other function. Text function, you can use it for year, you can use it for month. So the first input is the date, and the second input is specifying what you're looking for from that date. So I'm looking for year. Okay. So the difference between today's date or today's year and also the hiring date will give us years of experience, how many years of membership from like with for that specific doctor. And this is usually a good indicator for different like purposes. Okay. I see that this happens. So what it does, we need to change the format of the cell. Okay. Let's change the format. Click and like select the column, click right, click on format cells. Okay, change the format to number. Click on format cells and change the format to number. And we don't need a decimal number, it's an integer value, okay? So change, like set the decimal value to 0. It's an integer, so we are not like expecting any decimal values. So change it to number, no decimal, and that will give us now the difference, okay? How many years, like years of experience, or like how many years they've like been a member of that like organization. Here, I think in that file, I've used years of experience. So I'll just like use the same name. So if you go back to the file, you know what we did here, years of experience. Okay, so I'll name it years of experience. So a lot of times it's about creativity with data sets and like with like modeling a data. It's about creativity that you look at the current columns, the current data you have, and then be more creative and see what can I create from the existing data. It's creativity and like looking at like the current values and see how can I create something that like can give me more insights. And then as much as you can gain more insights from the data, your models become better in most cases. Years of experience. What else? Okay. I have an hourly rate. It's numeric. I cannot use it to categorize the doctors, like the data. So But I still I can use like if I can create a new column, a categorical column from that, I'll probably be able to use it. So how about I categorize like doctors based on hourly rate? Okay. So I want to say okay, if the hourly rate is greater than 100, the hourly rate is greater than 100, categorize it as high salary. High salary. The hourly rate is greater than 100, categorize it as high salary. Otherwise, if E2 is greater than 70, meaning that like less than 100 but greater than 70, let's categorize it as mid salary, medium salary, mid salary. Okay. Otherwise, again, you can like, how do we specify this? Usually like in most like one of the ways that you can identify a better categorization is to look at the histogram of that column, see how the data is distributed, and then use that to identify separate categories. For now, it's just like, let's just create, like, want to see how we can actually turn a numeric column into a categorical column. So I will like say, otherwise, just like categorize it as a low salary. Okay. It's not a low salary below 70, but you know. Then we can close the parentheses. Okay. Do that, and then we can extend it. So we created 3 categories, and this is salary category. We have the years of experience. Now we have salary category for the doctors. Yes. This is our formula. Oh, years of experience. Just year, and inside the parentheses is today, minus. You still can use the year function or use the text function and specify that you're looking for year. Make sure to change the format of that column to numeric and a number so that it shows you the correct value. Okay. Last step. Okay, that's the last thing we want to like add to this data, like to this column. We have a start time and end time. What can we do with it? A lot of times, one of the unique things about the doctors is that they have different shifts. Some people work overnight, some people work only on a daily basis. If you can actually categorize them based on their shift, that could give you different like an important insights about their work, about their performance, about like anything that you're looking for into that data set. So I have a start time and end time. How about I create a new column for that? Say if I want to say if the number is between 7 and 15, we're going to categorize it as day shift. If it is between 15 and like and 20, meaning that from 3 p.m. through 8 p.m., we'll categorize it as evening shift. And otherwise, like from 8 p.m. through like 8 a.m., that should be categorized as overnight. So we can see that we need to check as an and. We want to say if and this time, okay. This time first we'll use the and. Okay, now and okay. And parentheses. So I want to say this value is greater than 7. This is like it's not an exact number. So in order to extract the number, use the our function. Okay, this is a function. Then click on G2. It will give you the number from that column. Okay. So I want to say if our G2 is greater than 7, okay, and our, okay, This time, n time, okay? N time is less than 16, okay? Less than 16. Close the parentheses, add a comma, we'll categorize this as day shift. And add column, okay? Day shift. Oh, this is 35. Okay. Am I rushing? I thought this, okay, we still have a lot of time. Okay, never mind. So what it does, let me go over this part. I like we still have time. So what it does, our from that time will give us the exact number an hour. So it's like a 24-hour. That's what it will give us. If it is less than 16, and because we've used and, it will check us like if the range between 7 and like 3 p.m. 8 a.m. through 3 p.m. So it will categorize it as day shift. Otherwise, add a comma. Now again, if, okay. Now I want to say if it is between what is it, from 16 through 20, 21, okay? From 16 and 21. And so we want to type and, okay. Okay, it doesn't work here. And so if again hour, you're using that function, the same like G2. Okay. If it is greater than or equal 16, add a comma. So we are looking from 16 through 21. Our when the end date, the end time, sorry, the end time is less than 21. The end time is less than 21. Close the parentheses for end. Always remember to check your parentheses. Like a lot of times it like we can make mistakes in like correctly closing and closing the parentheses. So and then close the parentheses, add a comma, then we will specify it as evening shift. And then inside double quotations, evening shift. Okay, evening shift, add a comma, otherwise overnight shift. Overnight shift. Okay. Now we have two ifs. So let me add two parentheses, and that's our formula for this column to give us like if like they work as a like a day shift, overnight shift, or like an evening shift. This time now we can see that we can use and if you're looking for a range or you have two conditions that both of them should be accurate and like correct so that like you categorize the data. Then you use the and here, and then inside the parentheses you specify the conditions that should be met. Okay, overnight shift, and then we have the data set. We'll call this shift or shift category. Let's save this. Okay. Shift. Only rate. What else do we have? Okay, let me see what is left. Given that I still have time, we can see if I can add. Okay, I think, let me go back to the admissions table. We added this room charge. I think we forgot, like we also wanted to like change this in the custom in the patient admissions table. We fixed the issue in the room charges, right? We had two numerics, room charge. So we fixed it, created a new column, room charge two, without the characters, it's a numeric, and also mischarge. So what I will do, I will create total charges, a column here as a total charge. So what is total charge? It is room charge. So I'm back in the admissions table. So we finished like making changes to the doctor's table. This was missing. I forgot to add it. Um, okay, room charge. This is the one that like we change it to numeric, so we should use that one. Okay, plus room charge plus the mischarges. Okay, mischarges. So what does it give us? It will give us total charges. Total charges. All right. Okay. So total charges. Okay. Let's do one like quick thing, quick step this time. We already added like this formula, right? Provider's name. Copy the formula. Okay. Copy the entire like formula. Okay. Copy that formula and like paste it in the new cell. So copy the same formula from that cell and paste it in the new cell. This is the formula from provider's name. Okay, so if I get it, this is the formula name. Change these two to 3 so we can get the third column this time. So the value of third column. The 2 to 3 it will give us the percentage. It will give coverage percentage. So we are looking at the same table, like same like a different value from, and that will give us the coverage percentage. Bless you. Okay, so percentage. The only change is like copy or the formula change the value from 2 to 3 to get the coverage. Okay, percentage. The formula we have here, let me check. I forgot what I'm buying. No, here. Okay, so insurance coverage value, that's multiplied by coverage percentage divided. So basically it's equal to this by coverage percentage divided by 100. Okay, so coverage percentage multiplied by total charges divided by 100. Okay. And what is this column? It is insurance coverage value. Insurance coverage value. Okay. Insurance coverage value. Insurance coverage value. Final payable fee is like total cost minus insurance coverage value. So this is just about total cost minus the insurance coverage value. Okay, total cost minus the insurance coverage value will give us final payable. So how much the patient is paying for that. In this case, is 0, extended. Okay. And this is our final payable. Great. That's what was like the last one. I can change this. Like if I wanted to change it to format to currency, we can like click right, go to format to cells and change the format. Keep the decimal to 2. That's okay. So change it to currency, and then we can see like exactly final payable. Great. This was we were able to like clean the data set, remove the duplicates, check and remove the duplicates, maybe like replace the missing values with some values, create new columns. So we took all these steps to prepare our data set for next step where we create like the pivot tables to gain an understanding or like summarize the data. Okay, make sure save it and upload this file. That should be for today's class. And then I'll give you the attendance code. Okay, I need to get this code.